Okay. So this course is called information retrieval. So we are dealing with how do we retrieve document. So overall we have 10 lectures, but some of them we need to split them into two. Okay. So the course objective, by the end of the course, you should be able to explain the basic concept and technique in information retrieval. So this is referring to knowledge, and also at the same time you should be able to do the document retrieval system, or at least implement a small one, or maybe experiencing in developing and implementing a document retrieval system. So the whole idea is we want the student to have the following learning outcome, to be able to explain the basic concept and technique. We will introduce a few models here, but the most famous one is called vector space model. Then that can be applied for document retrieval. Okay. And we also will look at, based on this model, we can also use how we can use unsupervised and supervised machine learning. So this is another area that you will study. I think Abdul Hanan already took the course last semester. So you should be able to know what is unsupervised and supervised. Okay, so in this course, you will learn how do we apply unsupervised and supervised machine learning with respect to text document. Okay. Text document. Bear in mind that we have text mining and data mining. The difference between these two are text mining refer to text document. Data mining refer to you're trying to mining data from the database or structured data. Okay. And then the last one is you should be able to reason or explain how supervised and unsupervised learning methods are used to solve the retrieval process. Okay, so if you look at the distribution of the marks, so we have midterm, we have assignment, we have quizzes, and we have lab practical. So the lab practical is just to show you how we can do this. We will study the model, we will study how we construct the model, how do we compute the distance and so on. But in the lab practical is more on the application. How do we do topic modeling? How do we do sentiment analysis? So all this will be covered in the lab practical. And of course, we have the final exam. The final exam will cover most of the problem solving related to the model, all the model that we have. So you really need to understand the foundation of each model that we study, so that when it comes to the final exam, then you know how to, or which model you want to use, which formula you want to apply, and so on. Okay, so this is the cost assessment. Okay, so if you have the budget, you can buy this book. Modern Information Retrieval can be easily obtained from the Google bookstore. This is a very thick book, like this thick. I have the book, but you can easily get the ebook or buy from online. Other alternative, you could also look at the second book here. Introduction of Information Retrieval by Christopher Manning. So these two books are highly recommended for this course. Basically, a lot of things you can do when you know the foundation of information retrieval. For example, you can crawl all the text posted in Facebook or social media, and then you can summarize them and so on and so on. For your information, the ChatGPT, the way they works will be a bit different, but you can somehow relate this course with how ChatGPT responding to you. But in order for you to understand ChatGPT operation, you need to know text mining, you need to know machine learning, and you need to know the LLM, okay? The large language model. Then you could imagine how they respond to your query. Okay? So for this book of this book presents an overall view of research in information retrieval. So basically, we are looking at the algorithm, the technique that used in IR system. Last time, I think during my time, there is a bachelor of information science. This is more into teaching librarian how do you manage information, how do you retrieve information, and so on. So these are well known in the past. So most of the librarian coming from the information science course. So what we want to do here is we want to focus trying to understand how people interpret and use this information in the modeling. Okay, because different people may have different interpretation. So when we try to retrieve document, it's depends on our background knowledge in determining how relevant is the information retrieved from the system. Okay. If you have any question, you can stop me. So it's good to have two ways communication. Okay. So the first one is, so this is the introduction. So basically we are looking at the introduction of information retrieval, what problem you want to solve, and then what system related to IR, and then how the web has influenced the research and development in information retrieval. Okay. Okay. So when we deal with information retrieval, basically we are dealing with how do we represent the text, how do we model the document, all the document that we have, and then based on that, how do we store and organize this information in the system so that it is easier for us to access and retrieve. Okay. So the whole process, like how do you represent a set of documents, and then how do you store them, and then how do you actually retrieve and rank the document based on your query. So that is what we call information retrieval process. Okay. So when we talk about the type of information, normally we are looking at the document, web pages, online catalogs, or structured record or multimedia objects. So all of these can be transformed into a vector space, and then you can use the vector space model in order to retrieve them. Okay. Last time, the early goal of IR area was to do indexing text and do the search. So if you still remember, if you go for looking for book, you go to the catalog book, and then you look for the topic based on the code given to you. Okay, So nowadays, research in IR include modeling, web search, text classification, user interface. How do you visualize the content of the document or the content of your set of document? And then how do you do filtering, and how do you handle different languages for your document? So large area in your in the IR. So maybe we can start with the early development in IR. So it started in the 50s when the research effort in IR were initiated by pioneers such as the Hans Peter Lund, Eugene Garfield, Philip Bagley. So basically they coined the term information retrieval, where basically they are looking at how do we represent document, how do we store and organize them, and then how do we access and retrieve, and at the same time do the ranking. Okay, and then in 1962, Cyril Cleverdon published the Cranfield study. So they are looking at how do we evaluate the system that retrieve the document, or how do we evaluate the retrieval system or the retrieval result. So we will learn about this one also. Okay, and then the first book on information retrieval was published by Baker and Hayes in 1962. Okay, in the late 60s, the key research conducted by Karen Spark Jones and Gerard Salton. So Gerard Salton is a famous researcher and led to the definition of the IDF term rating scheme. So this is the model that we will study. So it was formulated in the late 60s. Up until now, this model is a very powerful. Of course, they have some modification, but the foundation is still the same, using term frequency and inverse document frequency in modeling the document that we have. Okay. And then in 1971, this Jardine and Van Rijsbergen articulated the cluster hypothesis. So this is what we call the unsupervised learning. So given a set of documents, how do you perform the clustering or perform the segmentation of the document? How do you group them based on the content? So this Jardine and Rijsbergen study the theory and how they formulate the theory about the clustering approach. Okay, and then in 1978, the first conference on information retrieval was held in Rochester, in New York. Okay, okay, and then following the clustering in 1971, Rijsbergen published a classic book entitled Information Retrieval, but this one is focusing more on the probabilistic model. So they have clustering, and then they have probabilistic model in which they use probability in modeling the text document. So this is highly related to document classification, which is the what we call it supervised. So we have this one is the unsupervised, because you do the clustering. So this is unsupervised, and this is the supervised, where you do the clustering. Okay. So in 1983, Salton, the same person here, this Salton here, and McGill published a classic book called Introduction to Modern Information retrieval. So they focus on the vector model. So this is the similar to TF-IDF. So similar to TF-IDF that mentioned just now. They started in late 60s, and then after 20 years, he published the book called Introduction to Modern Information Retrieval. Okay. So if we look at the usage of information retrieval, last time libraries and digital libraries play important role, okay, where they adopt the IR system for retrieving purposes. So last time we do have the card catalog searching, right? Where we flip on the card and then we try to find the book, and then they have this code, then you go to that place and then you can find them. But now most of them digitized already. So how do you retrieve digital information? So last time we have text, but now we have graphic. We have forms, and also we have links that we can improve the information retrieval further. Okay. So what is the actual problem that we want to solve, or what are the kind of problem that we are addressing in the information retrieval area? Okay, so the whole idea is we want to solve a problem in which we pose a single term or a single concept and then try to retrieve the document and rank them based on relevancy, degree of relevancy. Okay, so but in order for the system to retrieve the document, the system must be able to first to represent all the document, and then manage, store them, and then next one is how do they compute the ranking, how they perform the ranking, and then how they retrieve the document presented, visualized to the user. So that is the focus of the IR. Okay? So because of the web, we have so many unstructured information. So how do we organize this unstructured document? Unstructured document referring to text, video, images, and so on. So when we compare to structured document, structured data are all data stored in database. So you can easily manipulate them using SQL statement, and they are very structured. But when we talk about unstructured data, like the web-based document, your journals, your email, and your images, and many other things which is not in the structured format. So these are the area that we need to look into, because 80% or 90% of the data are in unstructured data. Okay, so only 10 to 20% only data stored in the database. So what we want to do is we want to transform or retrieve the document from the unstructured data into a well-structured data, so easier for us to retrieve them or analyze them or manipulate them. Okay, so when we talk about IR, so basically the whole idea is we want to solve this problem. For example, you want to find all documents that address the role of the federal government in financing the operation of the National Railroad Transportation Corporation. So this one, if you ask ChatGPT, this one, they're able to find the answer for you. But the mechanism behind it, how it works, you need to know. Okay, so that's why we need to look at what are the foundation of information retrieval, and then from there on you can develop more knowledge, or you can learn more about how the large language model is used to develop the Q&A. Q&A means question and answering model. Okay. So for example, given a query, given the information that you want to search, you want to transform them into query, right? So for you to retrieve the document, you need to be able to express your information in terms of query. So what keyword you want to post, and then how do you want to type them, and so on and so on. Okay. So in return, you hope that the goal of the IR system is to retrieve the information that is useful or relevant to you with respect to the query that you have posted. So in information retrieval, they do not have like exact matching or high accuracy and so on. We only look at the degree of relevancy. Okay, for structured data, we are looking for exact matching, then we retrieve, right? In information retrieval, we are looking at the degree of relevancy. Okay, so if you look at the key goal or the IR problem here, the key goal of IR system is to retrieve all the items that are relevant. So we must be able to compute the degree of relevancy here. How do we compute? How do we perform the ranking? Okay? So the notion of relevance is the most important part in information retrieval. Yes. So the keyword that set in all the journal that we have is used to group your journal into the right cluster. Okay. Last time we do not have ChatGPT, right? So that's why we are required to type the keyword. Okay, but if you now you have the ChatGPT, right? So what you need to do is you feed them with all the document. You say for each of the document, extract the keyword or the main idea in the journal. Then ChatGPT can do that. Okay? Or what you can do is you can present the whole document, and you say based on this content, what is the best topic for this content? So ChatGPT would be able to do topic modeling, keyword generation based on the content of your document. Okay. But now we are looking at from the keyword, how do we retrieve the document? Okay, so that's why it's good to have keyword that match to the information that you require. Okay, so how does this one works? Okay, what is your task when you search for when you seek for information on a topic of your interest? The first thing that you need to know is you need to know whether you have enough background, because your background will tell your ability to decide whether the document is relevant to you or not relevant to you. Because if you don't have any idea about the topic, about the information you require, then you cannot determine which one is more relevant to you, right? Okay. Okay, so once you know what you want to know, then you can express this one in the query. Okay. So we can do the searching or querying, we put them in a query. Okay, so then once we put them in the Google, then whatever document given to you, then you start browsing. Browsing means you start clicking and then you go to the next one. And then if you don't like, then you go back and then you typing new one. So you navigating through the website to find the best document that you can relate to your information. That is your task, right? So this is you. Okay. So this is the document. So what you want to do is you want to post the thing here. Then based on your search here, they will give you or retrieve your document here. Then you search through the document. If not, then you try to browse again, go for another link, and so on, so on, so on. So if you don't like, you do the searching again. So you go back here. So you search, browse, and so on until you find the right document. So that is your task, right? So when you want to compare with the database and also this one, so this is structured, this is unstructured. Okay, so this is unstructured data. This is structured. Structured means they are stored in the database. Okay, so in the data retrieval, the task of determining which document of a collection contain a keyword. So this is we are looking at the keyword only. But in the database, we are dealing with exact matching. Okay? Exact matching means if they are matched, then you retrieve. If none of them match the keyword, then you retrieve nothing. Okay, so that is data retrieval. But when we say information retrieval, even the keyword is not matched, but we retrieve the document based on the degree of relevancy because we have ranking. We can perform the ranking. We do not rely on exact matching, okay? True or false. We are looking at the degree of relevancy, looking at the distance between the query and also the document. The distance is a metric that we use to measure the similarity between the keyword and also the content of the document. Okay. So now we look at the architecture of the IR system, and this is just to give you an idea how the IR system architecture looks like. Okay. So this is you. This is the website. Okay. So there must be a crawler. A crawler task is to get or extract all the document. So they will crawl because each document in the web may have link to another document. So they will, once they extract all the documents for all the link that they will crawl again. And until there are no more link to the other document, then they will stop. Okay. So once you have all the document here, then you will use the indexer. Indexer is we use text as an index, or we use keyword as an indexer to annotate the content of the document that we have. So this is indexing process. Okay, so this is done on the server side. This is you. So you type in your query, and then we may have to expand your query or rephrase your query. And then in the system query, based on the document here, we will retrieve and rank the document that you have. So what you see here will be a ranked document. Okay, so similar to the Google, when you type something, then they will rank the list based on the degree of relevancy of the document with respect to the query or the keyword that you type. Okay, so that is the high-level software architecture of an IR system. Okay, so when it comes to the process of indexing and retrieving the ranking, so we go back here. So this is the document of all the collection that we have, and this is you. This is the interface. So you type something in the text field, so they will expand your query or modify your query based on the history or based on the record that they have. Because some of the text that you type can be expanded, or you add more term, okay? Or you use different term. So that is modification. If you use different term, modify to different term, or expand means you tambah, you expand the keyword. Okay, so why do we need to do this? Because statistically, you will get more relevant information based on the document that you have here. So this is all the index document, right? So based on the retrieval here, then you will perform the ranking. Okay, so perform the ranking, then you will give them. So what you will learn in this course, you will learn how do we retrieve the document, then how do we do the ranking. Okay, these two are the most important part. How do we retrieve? How do we measure the distance? And then how do we perform the ranking? How do we say that this document is more relevant with respect to your query compared to the other document? So that is the idea here. Okay. Okay. So any question so far?
So far, no, right?
Okay. Okay. So what I will do next, I will look at this is just the basic knowledge, the web, because the web has influenced the R&D in information retrieval, because due to the existing of the web, we have more unstructured data, right? Okay. So web search today is the most prominent application of IR, because all of those information are stored in the web. So how do we retrieve? How do you rank the document? How do you perform indexing and so on? So there are a few major impacts of the web on the search. So the first thing is the web is composed of pages distributed over millions of sites and connected through hyperlink. So this is the hyperlink that connect different document. Once you land on the landing page, then you can go to next one, right? So we need crawler. So the task of the crawler is to given one point or one document. So the task of the crawler is to retrieve all the document, all the text that posted on the one page, and of course the link to another page also needs to be crawled. So a lot of people doing research or crawling. And the second one is the how do we store the document, because the second major impact on the web on search is the size of the collection, the volume. Okay, so we need to look at the scalability. So how do you store them? How do you process them? With the advanced and powerful tools that we have, should be no problem. We also need to look at how do we perform the processing in parallel mode, okay, or use the IR in a distributed system. So distributed parallel approach and powerful computing. So all of this more research they are dealing with. Okay. And the third one is because of we have all this very large collection, then we can extract this knowledge, and then we can perform more modeling, more prediction. Okay, so we will look at how do we extract document, and then what information can be extracted from there. Okay? And the fourth one is now they are looking at, can we find specific information? For example, the price of this book, okay, the phone number for this hotel, or the link for downloading software. Okay, so nowadays people trying to model how can the retrieval process can be made more efficient by looking at specific information and the price of the book. Okay, or for example, how old is me? Okay, how old is Rainer Alfred, for example. So we are looking at my age, not looking at this individual person, Rainer Alfred. We are looking at the age. Okay? And the fifth major impact would be the web spam. So when you search something, when you really need information about certain things, and then they know already that you are looking for you're looking for certain information, but the link is not, the document is not available. So what happens is that they will try to spam you with advertisement and many more, right? So that is what we call web spam. Okay, so due to the fact that we have all the impact of the web on the R&D, we also have some other issue, for example, security, privacy, copyright, who own the document if you're sharing more information on the web, and then how do you digitize the document. For example, now we have a lot of undigitized document, so how do we convert them into digital format, and then would enable the cross-language retrieval, meaning that you have all the document in Malay, but some other people from Europe want to retrieve your document, so they type in English. So how do we do the cross-language retrieval? They type in English, but they also get the retrieval result in Malay. Okay? So more interesting, more challenging. Okay, so I think tadi baru join. Lansa Fahatul. Okay, so based on the introduction just now, so we are looking at this. So topic cover. So topic cover for this course will cover this. Okay, so today we are here. Okay, so just give you an overview. What is the course about? What is the problem that we are looking here? What are the areas that we are looking at, and so on. So the next one will be this. So we will spend more time on modeling. How do we represent the document in a system? Okay, so there are many models, and then based on the model that we have, how do we retrieve? Okay, how do we do the ranking? Okay, and then so on is how do we get the feedback from the user saying that this document is more important than the other one. So this is in order for them to learn, saying that given this keyword, then the user has confirmed that these three documents are the most important document. Okay, so they will always look at this. Okay, so based on your feedback, then they will improve the retrieval process. Okay, so this is the classic IR, and then based on this model also we are looking at some of the property that we have for the document, and then the property of the query, and then how do we perform text classification, text clustering. So we will also look at text classification and text clustering. Okay, so that is the topic cover, but the book that we have, if you buy them, so you will learn about more indexing, parallel and distributed IR, and then web retrieval and web crawling. So this is the additional topic, but the foundation of IR will be this. Okay, so this course is a very interesting course for me because my area of research is more into data mining and text mining. So when I did my PhD, I combined these two, data mining and also text mining. How do we apply text mining in data mining, and how do we apply data mining technique in text mining? So by having two worlds in your head, then you have more opportunities, more idea how do you can expand the knowledge. Okay. Any question? I think Raja just joined us. Don't worry if you miss the few slides because we have recorded the session here. So from all the session that we have, we will have a session, a recorded session. Okay. So any question? Okay. So let me stop